Hey, Shane,
Yes, Mints?
have you seen John Wick?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen John Wick Chapter 2?
Yes.
What about John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen John Wick Chapter 4, though?
No. Have you?
I have not.
Well.
We have now.
We
went to John Wick Chapter 4, and it was glorious.
And why are we watching all of the John Wick movies, Spencer?
we are watching all of the John Wick movies because April is Action Month here at What Is Us.
Action Month.
We are deeply excited about this. We haven't done like a themed month really. We've done I guess
Halloween.
Scream, but themed month-wise, since November with
Yeah.
Halloween in November.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about doing Action Month for a while. So
Yes.
super excited. We're going to kind of get some interesting different types of action movies, starting
Yep.
with like the hand-to-hand combat thing. And then we'll do like stunt work movie, all kinds of crazy stuff. We're super excited. I'm very, very into this. We're going to start Action Month really quickly by talking about our relationship with action cinema as a whole, because it's a rabbit hole, and I consider myself a deep action fan, but like there's things I don't know. So.
In my household growing up, I grew up on a healthy diet of action movies. My dad, who was the keeper of the remotest of controls, as he liked to call it, was always had an action movie on the TV at some point. It was either an action movie or a Western.
And a lot of Westerns are action movies.
A lot of Westerns are very action movies. So I grew up with a lot of action in the house. Like there wasn't as much like kind of like world cinema action, because there's like a lot of amazing action movies from completely different cultures that I am not as privy to. But when it comes to like American action cinema, I have I've seen a lot of it, both good and bad. Yep. I've seen a lot of it. What about you, Smith?
Similar. My dad grew up showing us movies from his childhood, so we grew up on a lot of like 80s action movies and like Indiana Jones, that type of thing. Star Wars, which is an action movie, but like again, weird sci-fi action, right?
Yeah,
action has that
sci-fantasy action.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for checking me on that. I grew up on a lot of. I consider myself like a deep, passionate fan of like action cinema.
Yeah.
Recently started dipping my toes in foreign movies, the Raid, which we'll talk about this month. Very excited about that. I saw Old Boy a long time ago, which is like an action psychological thriller. I just recently saw like a horror action movie called I Saw the Devil, which was a recommendation, but not a recommendation because I don't want to be the person that told you to watch that. But it's great. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's such an interesting genre because depending on where you are in the world, depending on what decade the movie was made in, depending on the stars in these movies, you have these philosophies of like Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves versus the philosophy of like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yeah. Where it's like one half of this is amazing. It's what every action movie should be. And the other half is The Rock thinking it's cool just to see him one hit punch everybody and not struggle at all.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of an action snob. RRR being another like perfect action movie. Yeah. Everything Everywhere All at Once being this great sci-fi action movie.
Bars.
We've had like a great renaissance of this as these like stuntmen have started kind of making movies,
100%.
And I think nothing epitomizes that, and nothing epitomizes what's working in action quite like John Wick.
Yeah. Or Scorn, as it almost became to be known.
Almost became to known as Scorn. So I think we'll talk real quick just about the lead up to the making of this movie, of this now mega franchise, like that's only gotten bigger and bigger with each one in both terms of like the movie and the box office and the fan base. Like, right. So originally called Scorn, which is like a direct to DVD, right?
Screaming direct to DVD action movie.
I know.
Or screaming like doesn't even get a trailer straight to streaming.
Yeah.
Like kind of name.
Yeah, which like by the way, like the original and John Wick changed a lot, right? When it was Scorn, it was a different movie.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, it was a movie about like a 70-year-old man, a like retired assassin.
Yeah.
Whose wife dies, right? That's the spoilers for the entire John Wick franchise, right? Like, you know this. We've never not spoiled.
You know the story of John Wick at the very least.
So it was like the story, but he was older and only like maybe 6 people died or something like that, and as opposed to the 70 some odd we got in the first one. But that was the original like premise of it, is this like much quieter, much littler movie.
Yeah.
And then, stunt guys got involved and were like, what if we just made this the coolest fucking thing you have ever seen?
Yeah.
So anyway, that happens, but Scorn finds its way into Keanu Reeves's lap, right?
Yeah.
So the writer goes over, comes into his house to have like a meeting about it, and I love this part of the story. Is like he said he like looks over into Keanu's like study or office or whatever, and there's just stacks of scripts because Keanu just reads everything he gets.
Yeah.
Because he wants to like ownership of everything, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
So he's reading all this stuff, and he picked this one because he thought it was interesting. He's like, they're talking, having this meeting, and Keanu's like, yeah, so he's like 70 in the script, but like, I think I'm gonna play him like 35. And the guy went, yeah, no, absolutely, Mr. Reeves,
totally.
no, 100%. Which you don't tell Keanu Reeves no, because you don't have to. The man just wants to make good movie. Like that's it. That's all he cares about.
Yeah.
So that happens. The director of John Wick is Keanu's stunt double, Chad Stahelski.
Yeah.
The director of the John Wick franchise and a couple other things. I think he's doing a Ghost of Tsushima movie.
Really?
Yeah, super.
That's cool.
And apparently it's all going to be in Japanese too, which is like I'm super in. He was Keanu's stunt double on the Matrix movies.
We love.
Which we love to see, right? So they knew each other. They come in and do this. But I think the thing that sets these movies apart in terms of like getting to the making of them is the people you are watching fight. So Keanu Reeves and this one, Willem Dafoe and other people, like it is Keanu Reeves fighting.
Yeah.
He does like 4 to 5 months of like jujitsu, gunplay, driving.
Yeah.
He's the guy doing the fight. So when you're watching him get flipped and thrown around, you're watching Keanu Reeves get flipped and thrown around.
Yeah.
Or flip and throw around other people, like as the movies go on, they get way more grapply and it's awesome. I think that is the coolest thing about this franchise.
Yeah.
And the thing that is like spread out quite a bit. You see that in a lot of other action movies. What are your thoughts on that? Like why that is so immersive, why that idea has spread so far now?
I mean, it's like, I think for a lot of these, like, it's like you can't even get a close, if it's not the main actor doing the action, you can't even really get close-ups. You know what I mean? Like
everything's kind of behind the back.
Everything's kind of behind the back. Like you have to work around the fact that your lead actor isn't the one punching that guy. And so it's like, I think the fact that Keanu Reeves is actually like a part of it and like in on it and doing the actual stunts, like doing a lot of the stunt work, doing a lot of the actual action part is like, you can shoot it more clearly. Like you can actually see what they're doing. And not have to like try to hide. Oh, like that's not actually him. Like there's certain things, he gets hit by a freaking car. Obviously it's not Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's like, that's easier to shoot around somebody's face if they're getting hit by a freaking car.
Yeah. Just cut a little wide and
exactly
have the guy fly around.
I think just the fact that it's and Keanu Reeves, like I've seen like behind the scenes people talking about Keanu Reeves like as a stunt performer.
Well, and I'll say that goes back to the 90s with The Matrix and Speed and those movies. Like he just has been down to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you were saying about them.
And he just has like impeccable like action performance skills as like a leading man actor in ways that like other actors, maybe because they haven't had as much experience as Keanu has over the decades of his career, or they just don't have that same skill set that he does to be able to sell punching, getting punched, kicking, jujitsu, shooting, all of the stuff that he works so hard at to be good at, but he's also just like he's just good at.
Well, and I was going to tell you, I like that you said skill because it is learned. Like he puts it, obviously he's a performer and he does action movies. So he's like has that talent and that ability to act and perform pain or tired or whatever. But this man does not phone it in. You know, this man
No.
puts in the work
Yeah.
for these movies.
Yeah.
Like that is the coolest part to me. It's another franchise that's very similar to that is we talk about a lot. Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
It's like what Mission Impossible is doing for like death-defying stunts in like vehicles and Tom Cruise being a stunt person.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves and John Wick and the team behind that, it's fight choreography.
Right.
It's the martial arts. Like
Yeah.
at least, and again, we talk about this, American cinema specific.
Right.
Like other countries, they've been doing this shit forever.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. But yeah, John Wick is maybe the coolest American action hero in 2 decades.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of, I mean, since like Rambo, there hasn't been one that's like this force of fucking nature.
Yeah.
And since I don't even know what the last one of like fight choreography like this would be. You know what I mean? Like Mission Impossible, yeah, has it, but it's not like this, dude.
No.
Like it takes like The Raid, you know, these like glorious action movies,
Yeah.
and does the fight choreography of that, but with like guns. You know what I mean? He's
Right.
using a pistol as martial arts.
Yeah.
But that's not even what makes John Wick so good on its own. Like
Yeah.
that makes it a great action movie. What makes the first John Wick like a great movie
Yeah.
is the story.
Yeah.
Like just how simple it is.
Yeah.
Again, spoilers. John Wick is the movie that killed the dog.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite stories too. When they were testing the movie, they were like super nervous. They were
Yeah.
like, crap, we killed 77 people over a puppy. No one's going to buy in.
Yeah.
Every test audience was like, fucking kill them all, dude. I love that. It's so funny to me.
Kill Theon. Get him.
Like, get him. He's Reek. Like, I love that. It's such a simple story, but it's like, I mean, John Wick at its core is a revenge movie.
Yeah.
But it's revenge for so much more than just literal reasons. It's like a guy who needed something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His revenge comes at his lowest point. Nothing was like, he's at his lowest point when the thing is taken from him.
Yeah.
He needed something. Like, I love the shot, and the filmmaking is also great. The way
Yeah.
they light it, the way they
Yeah.
edit the sound, the way they like the camera work.
Yeah.
All of it, costume design, all this stuff is great. But it's when he's cleaning up his dog's blood, and the music is building, and it like pans up, and he's just angry, and then immediately like cuts to him burying the dog.
Yeah.
Or no, that's when it cuts to him going to thing. It's when he's like petting the dog, and you think you were gonna get that moment, and then it's immediately like, nope, you're not allowed to mourn. Like
Yeah.
that's what this movie's about. Is about a man who can't bring himself to mourn the death of his wife.
Yeah.
And has something that pisses him off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
And
like,
he is the last person in the world that you want to piss
literally
off.
like,
That build
the fucking build to the fucking build to the house fight.
to Baba Yaga. Like,
Literally, like, it's, oh man, what other movie spends like 5 minutes having a guy go, John Wick wasn't exactly the boogeyman. He was the man you sent to kill the boogeyman. He's
Yeah.
like, you will do nothing because you can do nothing.
Yeah.
The movie's basically going, there's literally no one who's going to stop him,
yeah.
but you're going to watch it anyway, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it just is fundamentally the coolest fucking story for a movie like this,
Yeah.
because you feel it.
Yeah.
Like, that's things I always come back to when people ask me about the movies. I like John as
Yeah.
a character. I empathize with him deeply. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I want him to find peace.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to watch.
I mean, the minute you kill a dog, like the minute you can kill any people on screen, and most people don't give a shit. But the minute you kill that dude's dog, and you're like,
over.
it's different.
over.
That's just different. There's just something different about that.
I mean, one of my, like, again, we talked about that build-up sequence to the unleashing of the Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
I love it. It's him, like, it's so literal too. It's him
Yeah.
like using a sledgehammer to destroy the concrete where he's buried his past, and he has to
Yeah.
unearth it. Him in the shower with like all the tattoos on his, it's like him putting the suit on to fight these people. It's
Yeah.
so good. And Keanu is, I've heard people say Keanu's not a good actor, and I want to address that. Keanu is a good actor.
Yeah.
You put it this way a lot, and I think you're right. Like, his range, like, he just doesn't have.
yeah, he does not have a huge range, and like that's fine. Like, yeah, like he's not good in Dracula. He's not good in
No.
But like that being said, like it's just the accent that's
Yes.
bad.
Yep.
Like I completely agree. I don't think he's a bad actor, and I think he's actually really good in these movies. It's like, yes, his The way he speaks is a little weird.
But
Like,
it's just a presence thing.
Yeah.
Like that's just he's got an interesting like cadence. It's
Yeah.
what it is.
it's like that's like that feels like John Wick. It doesn't feel like Keanu struggling. Because that's the thing is like
Yes.
we've seen him in other things where he doesn't speak the way he does in John
Yes.
Wick. Like that is John Wick. I love it. I think he's great.
I think it's just we're gonna talk about the whole series and how we feel about them all as a collective and stuff. Is there anything else you want to specifically take in John Wick talk about before we go to 2?
I think
Because there's one thing I want to just ask, and I'm curious. I'll do this for each movie.
interesting. I think this movie is like the best kickoff to what has become like an action like tent pole at this point. And it is punctuated by maybe the worst fight in the entire series. Like that is the one thing that I don't love about this movie is that final fight with Vigo.
Yeah.
Because it's just like he's
Just
fucking,
two dudes
he's just a little old
kinda
man.
slapping
Go
each
kick
other.
the fuck out. Go kill
Yeah.
him. Like especially when you compare it to things that happen after the fact. That fight, like the rest of the movie, I think still fully sells.
Yeah.
All the actions, especially with like seeing what they've done.
I mean, the fight immediately before that, where he's in the car fighting all those dudes,
Right.
is so good.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's just like that's like the one that I wish was just like a little different.
yeah.
Because it's just like you could just absolutely demolish this dude.
Yes.
That's my one thing about John Wick 1.
Well, so to counter the one negative, because I agree with you completely, with a positive, something I think only grows with these movies is the world building.
Yes,
Like
yes.
it is so weird. Like he has these tattoos, and then you see other people with these tattoos.
Yeah.
They have the gold coins. What does the gold coin do?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the gold coin he gives to the guy to clean the bodies. The cop shows up at the house. He's like, "You working again, John?" Like the cops are just in on it.
Yeah.
Like
the Continental,
the
and, like,
Continental,
this
no,
weird
yes,
assassin
underground thing,
hotel,
right?
yeah.
And it doesn't explain any of it.
No.
But you get it all.
Yeah.
Like you get enough to be like, this is a cool world, and the rules are the rules, and the next like couple build on that so much. So before we get into 2, which we'll talk more about world building in 2, because that's where it starts exploding, and then 3 it explodes more, and 4 and it explodes more. All this stuff. John Wick 1. Do you have either a favorite action sequence in it or a favorite kill in it, or both? Do you have like a
interesting.
specific? Because
Okay, I have 2 answers for favorite sequence because like I think the house fight, the very first fight, is probably the best fight of the movie. But I also love the rave, the red square, or whatever it's called.
the red circle, yeah.
the red circle.
The entire nightclub sequence.
The nightclub is so good, especially like when he walks and the bass drop.
Yeah,
Oh, just like that is the thing that made that movie famous.
Yes.
Legitimately, that like the
him
house
shooting
fight,
all the guys he's fighting in that are wearing red shirts.
Yeah, like-
which is like just a cinema nerd's love.
Yeah,
Like
I absolutely love that sequence just because like the music is so perfect and the action's
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal and like it's just absolute blast. Like I would say like I don't really have a single favorite. Like I think the house fight is better, but I think I enjoy the nightclub fight more.
and so much of the house fight is that build, right? It comes right at the end of that where it just explodes in the first real action sequence we've seen the whole movie.
Yeah.
And you're like, who is oh, that's who this guy is.
Yeah.
Right? When he kills the dude on the counter and breaking his
Yeah.
leg. It's like, oh, these movies rule.
Yeah.
Okay,
about you?
yeah. For me, probably the same answers.
Yeah.
I think the nightclub sequence is one of the coolest sequences in any action movie.
Yeah.
But you can say that about almost every single action sequence in the entire franchise.
Right.
Right? Like it's so hard. I do think that upon rewatches, I think one of the greatest shots in an action movie is that one where it's like low and he jumps up and he grabs the dude and spins him to the ground, shoots the guy on the other side,
Yeah.
and it's all this one shot that's just doing this is like one of the greatest shots in an action film ever.
Yeah.
That if you want to know what these movies are, that's what they are.
Yeah.
This perfect clarity of action and
Yeah.
geography. You know where everyone is, you know where everything needs to be,
Yeah.
you know what he needs to do. It's like that shot alone is like one of the best in the franchise. Like
Yeah.
it's so good. But I think I agree. I think the best fight in it is that house fight, which
Yeah.
kicks it off. But the nightclub fight is one of the most energetic, propulsive things
so
I've ever
great.
seen in an action
So
movie.
great.
So good. All right. Okay. John Wick Chapter 2.
Yeah.
Did you saw this one in theaters?
I saw this one in theaters with Megan on Valentine's Day, We went and saw this for Valentine's Day.
Awesome.
So it's like I had to put a ring on it.
Oh yeah, sorry. I should say also while we're doing this, I have my John Wick collection here. So sadly I only have the first one on like regular Blu-ray, and then I have a steelbook in this cool book thing.
Yeah.
But John Wick 2, I have the steelbook because I love these movies so much.
What a nerd.
I am, but look, it's like John Wick 2 and there's all this stuff. I love these movies, man, and these are some of my favorite steelbooks I have.
The book, the actual collection is so fucking cool.
It's like his book from the third movie.
Yeah.
And can you hold my microphone? So you hold it up, right? And it's the book, and it doesn't even say John Wick or anything on it.
Yeah.
You open it, it's like the Latin writing in the first couple of pages, and then you flip it again, and it's steelbooks of all the movies in there
so
with
freaking
pictures
cool.
and shit.
I'm so jealous.
I know. I bought it because we were doing this. I was like, well, I want to see them in 4K. And
Where
stuff.
is it? Where'd you buy it?
Best Buy exclusive.
Hopefully it's still there. I might
It is. You could definitely find it.
Okay, I might go buy one. How much was it?
$80.
Okay, maybe not. Oh, it's so cool though.
But the dumb part is I own them already. That
That
why
is
it's
the dumb part.
specifically stupid, but it was so cool I couldn't help it.
Yeah. John Wick 2.
John Wick Chapter 2. I saw it in theaters with Ethan, friend of the pod.
Yeah.
Him and I went and saw this movie, and immediately I was like, oh my God, are we watching the coolest thing ever?
Yeah.
It opens on an incredible action sequence.
Yeah.
And this is where the world building gets kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Like in the coolest way.
Yeah.
It's not quite as emotionally resonant. None of them are really.
Yeah.
As the first one.
Yes.
The first one is so straightforward and so like grounded in its idea. The rest are kind of expansions of that.
Yeah.
So the second one isn't quite. I think the second one might be the worst in the franchise. That being said, it's still one of the best action movies ever made.
Yeah.
Like,
truly.
that's the crazy part. Do you have a take on that?
I feel very similarly to 2 and 3. Like, I think they are below number 1, if only slightly, just because I think again, like, I think the like emotional resonance isn't quite there anymore. But like the action is so fucking badass. That, like I really, really, really like 2 and 3 in a way that I like, but not in the same way that I like love John Wick, the first one. But yeah, no, I think John Wick 2 absolutely fucking
It shreds, dude.
Yeah.
It introduces the idea of the bulletproof suit.
Yeah.
Which is it's one of my
Which is like such a cool thing that they like are like that is one thing that I love about these movies is that they will introduce a really interesting an interesting piece of
a tool of some kind.
Exactly, tool. And that idea will have to continue, but they continue working through it in like really cool, like in the third one, it's the body armor
and
it shows up in the fourth one.
It creates situations where he has to fight differently because of it. So it makes it propels the action in a new direction.
They're not just lazy and be like, oh, well, he doesn't have that in this one. It's like, no, he still has it.
He's got him all. And I love the little detail of like, there's in the first time he uses the suit and they're like shooting each other. He runs away and gets to cover and he just goes, ugh, and hits his chest, and you just hear bullets fall off of it because they're stuck to him. It's so good. The second one, they up, I think, how well shot it is. Not that the first one's not well shot. They just get more money to like
clear that they've got a better budget.
You know what I mean? He drifts a car in midair. And they really do it. It's the coolest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Like the second one does have a bit more of like, I empathize with his anger a lot in it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, he got peace. I understood why he did the thing in the first one. In this one, it feels like his hand is forced. Yeah. And he's forced to do something heinous and horrible. And this one also has some of the best build-up stuff, like when he's preparing to do the job in this one. Yeah. And he goes to the guy, and he's like, "What's the main course?" And he's like, "The Belgian." And they're like talking about the guns and the knives.
So
and
good.
And it's like cutting all around to all the different suits and like him getting all that made. And then it builds up to this, and this is not the best action sequence in the franchise. Arguably one of the worst, which is the catacombs fight. That being said, it's still really well shot.
It's still just beautiful. It's just like
and we talked about this. What it lacks in like clarity of exactly what's going on and like tension of is he gonna get out of it? Yeah, it makes up for an energy. Yeah, the thing has so many just beats of like changing energy, and it's the first one in the franchise that feels like this gauntlet to get through. Yeah, where like 3 and 4 specifically are based on that idea of like how long can this man fight? Yes. That is what that one started with, that fight.
That I think that is one that I've talked about multiple times over the years, is that like that is the one fight that like actually frustrates me because of the kind of that lack of clarity, which is like which is what this franchise was like built on, and what people were so excited about with the first John Wick was the clarity of the action, and that kind of disappears for a second
and
in
it's
that fight.
specifically the geography.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you can see clearly what he's doing.
Yeah, John specifically, but not the other.
Yeah,
people.
not the others. That's where it gets hard. You're like, wait. Where are people coming from? Where are people like this? What's happening here? And even within it, it's got great moments. Like it's got great characters. Him reloading the shotgun and shooting the guy.
It has. Like that's like the one thing that I like don't like about this movie. It's just that literally that one.
Yeah.
But even then, it has those moments that like do redeem it.
I do think it might have the best shot in the franchise, or the most badass shot in the franchise, in the Hall of Mirrors thing at the end when he's walking out and the mirror opens and it opens again, and it's so good.
That one's great.
Like, now that being said, 4 is fucking.
We will get to 4. We will get to 4.
But that one solitary shot is like the coolest thing in a movie. You know what I mean?
It's absolutely wild.
And this one also introduces like fun challenges for John.
Yeah.
Like I said, like he has $7 million contract put on him, so Lawrence Fishburne gives him a gun with 7 bullets.
Yeah.
And so he uses all 7 bullets immediately.
Then
has to, like, the whole rest of the fight, he's like grabbing guns from other people and trying to like figure it out. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's got so much, and it has one of those like jaw drop moments in a movie for me, is when he's on continental grounds and he's in there with the gun, and the guy he's been trying to get to is there, and he just can't kill him and boom, he gets him. I love that.
Great.
It's one of those moments where like everything gets quiet and you're like, oh shit, what did he just do?
Yeah.
It has a great ending.
Yeah.
It's got such a good ending.
Yeah.
John Wick 2 rules. Like people harp on it. I don't harp. I try not to harp on it as much, but there are people who are like, it's just not that good. It just like, fucking is. It just is the weaker of a lot of them.
The vast majority of the action is still like absolutely top notch, phenomenal, with like absolutely crazy sequences, crazy kills, crazy, and like a lot of fun and levity and stuff like that interspersed throughout. It's just like that emotional core isn't quite the same as it was in the first one. But by the time you get to the third one, like it at that point, like by the time we get to the third one, it's like I think we're kind of a little okay with the fact that the emotional core isn't the same anymore.
Yeah, because it's still there. I still care about John in all of these movies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then the other thing too does so well is expanding on the world. You know what I mean? Like expanding on exactly what the Continental's rules are, expanding on the idea of a marker and how that works, and you can't. All of that stuff is so cool. And again, doesn't really explain it all that much, and we just get it. Yeah. You know, John has to do this thing. And this thing is also against other rules, but because of the marker, he has to do it.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is awesome. I mean, the music in these movies also rules. Like every time that specific like John Wick theme comes in, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like so good.
Favorite fight or sequence or kill?
Favorite? It's tough. This one has really good 1v1s. I think the Hall of Mirrors fight is probably the coolest sequence.
Yeah.
But man, that first Cassian fight, when he's fighting Common.
Yeah.
The train one is great, but the other one where John has to like out of bullets, so he's in the stranglehold, so he puts the gun in his leg to reload it and then grabs it to get out of it, and it ends with them breaking into the continent. Like
that's a good one.
That whole fight is so good.
That's a good one.
It's such a good 1v1. In terms of kills, what are the really cool? I love the shotgun kill. I love when he's like holding the dude down and like loads it and then boom and get like that's such a great. These movies have wonderful character moments like in the third one when he's like slapping the dude. It's so good. I
mean the pencil,
the fucking pencil.
Yeah,
that whole sequence is also amazing where he's just going through New York and everyone's trying to kill him and it's just. The pencil, the sumo wrestler one where he shoots him like 12 times, that's like, and then shoot him again as he's walking away.
Yeah, I think probably the Hall of
well, and actually that's also long, right? It doesn't. It's the whole like party fight through the museum into the Hall of Mirrors to a 1v1 to him leaving to do the thing.
Yeah,
great. Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
that is probably the best. I love when he like uses the mirrors too to like distract from where he is, and then he'll come. It's so good, man. Like
it's so good.
Anyway, anything else with this one that sticks out or
Nope.
frustrates you? No. Okay.
John Wick 3.
John Wick
Parabellum.
Chapter 3, Parabellum, the only one with a subtitle.
And that is the thing that frustrates me about the movie.
Yeah,
is Parabellum.
the fourth one was gonna originally it had one and they took it away. I can't remember what it was. Some other, whatever,
Latin or Russian or
something. You know what I mean? John Wick Chapter 3 rules so fucking. The movie, we kept saying it was really, this movie fucks. Like
fucks, man.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Again, they got more money.
Yes.
Because the second one made more money, and then this one made more money than the second one, and the fourth one made more money than the third one.
Yeah.
They got more money, and this one is interesting because it opens on one of the coolest things I've ever seen, which is the museum fight, and the Bobon fight, and the horse stall fight.
Yeah.
And the it opens immediately after the second one.
Yeah.
In another, and what we talk about, like the gauntlet fight, where it's like he keeps going from one level to the next and can't catch a break.
Yes.
This one introduces a bunch of new cool rules with like the adjudicator and all of that stuff, right?
With her damn little gloves.
Oh man. This one introduces the idea of the high table and like what that really means.
Yeah.
It has Halle Berry in it.
Queen.
In like one of the coolest action sequences. Like that's the one that goes on too long.
It goes on too
long. But
long.
it's like I'm seeing amazing stunt work happen. It's like doesn't bother me. The dogs, there's just good boys and girls.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love them. The whole last 40 minutes of this movie when they're fighting in the Continental is so good.
Yeah.
Like Zero is this one introduces the idea of the wacky cast of characters popping up, and I love that Zero's just like, I'm a big fan. Like,
that dude, the casting for that guy and that character is so. I love that dude so much. He's so good. It's so cool.
It's introducing John's family, the ballerina Russian people is awesome. The idea of your ticket, all of the world building stuff just continues to be amazing.
Yeah.
This is a fun story. They Sharon, which by the way he has just passed away. Lance Reddick just passed away.
Pouring out.
Legitimately, that was so sad to hear. And he's so good in these movies. As the concierge.
We literally just a couple weeks ago we were talking about how much I love Fringe.
Yeah,
and like it's just like he was such a phenomenal actor, and just I love a character actor. I love a character actor. And he's just like a quintessential character actor. It's like every time you see him, you're like, oh, it's that guy.
And he pops up in weird things. Constantly, you know what I mean? Like he just did things that he thought would be fun, and I love that. Like, but the story I love is in the first two movies they kept trying to get him a gun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they kept trying to find a situation they would be like, no, you can't have a gun.
Yeah,
and him and the writer, or him and the directors. He was like, sorry, man, I can't do it. And he would just be like, next time. And then he got a gun!
And he got a gun, boys.
He got to do cool action sequences. And, man, he rules in these movies, dude.
Yeah. Short aside that I do think it's a sweet story that most other people should know. So Lance Reddick voiced a character in the Destiny games. I don't know if it's just I don't know if it's just Destiny 2 or if it's in both. But he voiced a character in Destiny 2. And apparently he also played a bunch of Destiny 2. Like he was like an active player. And so like groups of actual players have been getting together and doing like like visual, like a candlelight vigil essentially.
Yeah.
For land, like it's. So
I heard
sweet.
he last time he logged in was a couple days before he died, right?
No,
like
it was like the day before, or like
he was
hours.
like a player. You know what I mean? Which is, I love that.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
That's super sweet and just
very very sad about his passing. I mean, I think when we saw at Alamo, we could have gotten like the blue ribbons for the movie, which we should have done. I don't know why we didn't. But yeah, so that's like tragic, and I'm so sad. And he's so good in these movies. But anyway, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got again some of the best build up. He's like, I'm gonna need guns. Lots of guns.
Yes, we finally got it.
You said the thing.
You said the thing. We will eventually need to get him to say "whoa."
Yeah. Oh, he has to. He has to. I love that the reference, instead of him saying "whoa," is everyone says "oh."
Yeah.
in these movies. It's great. But yeah, the whole thing was like, we need to make our selections carefully. There's been some changes since you've been gone, and the armored troops that come in are like completely bulletproof. Like you're saying, like this idea of progression of technology. So he has to fight them specifically, which the fourth one does in such a cool way. But he's literally has to like get up and put the gun up their mask and pull the trigger three times.
He has to like specifically aim for gaps in the armor,
It's
which is
so
like,
good.
and it completely changes the way the fight works. And I love that. Like,
and I can't believe we haven't talked about this. Why did it take since the beginning of cinema for people to realize how cool reloading is?
Yeah.
Like these movies are so dope that they just let it, like literally it's just, you know how much ammo he has. So when he like hucks the gun at somebody, you're like, he's out, he's got to use it as a weapon. He just throws it across the room at someone.
So good.
And Keanu again is just incredible in these movies. Like, I don't know, man. There's so much to say about like fight choreography and stunt work and like how the idea of escalation in these movies of like, how exactly do y'all keep topping it? But they do.
Yeah.
The fourth one has some sequences that I'm like, did this take y'all just 6 months to shoot? Like, how did you do this?
Legitimately.
The fourth one has stuff where I'm like, how did you do this safely? Like, there's literally no way.
Legitimately.
Patrick Willems' tweet on the fourth one is very funny. I'll say that when we get there.
Yeah.
But 3, things that stick out to you, things that like rub you the wrong way. The third one, I believe, is the longest until 4. They each have gotten longer.
The one choice that I still don't love, and I didn't think much of it the first time I watched it, and then this most recent rewatch was the second time I've seen it, was the cutting off the finger, giving up the ring.
Yes.
Like,
I don't really like that he doesn't have a finger. Is that weird to?
It doesn't feel, I don't know, like for a character that is so driven towards like survival to remember his wife. Like the reason he's surviving is just so he can continue to remember her. But the idea that he would give up his ring finger and the ring itself just feels kind of out of character. Like,
no, I agree. I also just premise wise, the turn there where he's like, you're now bound to the table so you can remember. It's like, I understand the idea.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of somebody like whatever he has to do to survive and remember and do that kind of stuff. I'm here for it. It's just the turn back.
Yeah. Which
comes like
30 minutes later. Yeah.
If that, you know what I mean? It comes like one action sequence later.
Like that's like,
which by the way, that action sequence is a motorcycle sword fight, which is awesome.
Badass.
Like,
it's just like absolutely badass.
So cool.
Yeah. Like, that is like the one that made like the one complaint that I would levy against this movie is just like that is the only time where like John has not felt like super consistent. You know what I mean?
Oh, literally the rest of the time though he is like and I think the movie knows that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, my only other complaint is there's several action sequences in this movie that don't involve John at all.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a complaint so much as a like, I'm here to watch Keanu do these things. Now those are so cool with Zero and his gang from the raid, which is awesome. Zipping through, killing everybody, and cutting up Lawrence Fishburne, who's great in these movies.
Dude, Lawrence Fishburne. If there's one man that knows how to deliver a line, it's Lawrence.
Oh, speaking of,
Fishburne.
that's what we got to talk about from the second one. Giving one of the best line reads ever on "Somebody Please Get This Man a Gun." It's like, best thing ever.
His character only speaks in one-liners, and they're all the best one-liners.
They are so good, man.
I love all of the. And that's another thing we haven't talked about. It's like, so. Yes, the director was the stuntman or the stunt double on The Matrix. It's fun how many Matrix people are in these movies. So you got Lawrence Fishburne. You also have the Doctor.
Yep,
is the key master.
Who I love the Doctor in these movies. Yeah, he's so cool.
I love it.
Bummed he's not in 4.
Yeah. Spoilers for 4.
Sorry. we said spoilers
for the key maker in 4.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, I love the. I want more of those. Like I would love in future installments to see some more Matrix
guys. I would love that. 3 favorite. This one's tough because 3 has like several sequences that you can break into multiple different fights.
Right.
And like, do you have anything that sticks out? I mean, this one has some glorious kills, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think like the first thing that comes to mind is the Hall of Knives fight.
Yes.
Like that's like
with the shot.
Like that, I think is maybe my favorite.
My
Like,
favorite
that's the first one
kill
yeah.
is Boban. The first
Shit, yeah, man.
when he kills Dallas Maverick alum Boban with a book and just breaks his neck.
It's so good.
So good. I
Yeah.
love it, man. I love it so much.
I think that's the thing that comes to mind. Is that one right there? What about you?
I love the fight with the two guys from the raid.
Yeah.
It's so littered with cool character moments where they're like, not every day you get to fight John Wick. Like
Yeah.
they're also fans of this
Yeah.
man. Like I think that's and the way he takes them out with like the suplexing after suplexing,
Yeah.
like, and then breaking through the floor and landing, and he's like, "We good?"
Yeah.
And he lets them live because they let him live. Like
Yes.
it's like that kind of thing where John's not just ruthless and cruel.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to do these things, so if he doesn't have to, he doesn't. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So those guys gave him a chance to live, and so he's gonna I like that.
Yeah.
It endears me to him as a character. You know what I mean? The Zero fight is great. You know what I mean? The final fight is great.
I agree with that. I love the Zero fight because I just really like that character.
I know. No, dude, he's like. And I just love how fucking done Keanu is in it.
Yes.
He's like, let's just do this. Yeah. Starts fighting him with a sword. That is probably the best fight in it.
Yeah.
But I'll connect those two and cheat a little where it's the two guys from the raid up to the
that
Zero
whole
fight.
glass tower
Yeah,
fight.
yeah. How many things does Keanu get kicked through in this? There's
Dude,
literally
there's
like
so much
there's
glass.
there's like a 1 minute shot where he's just getting kicked through glass, like case after glass case, and
falling through glass floors.
yeah,
and
no joke. Oh man.
So good.
The opening is also, it's probably the Zero fight or the Hall of Knives fight where it's like they realize there's like glass cases, so they break them and start hucking them at each other. And
I mean, that whole sequence
It's
from
brilliant.
beginning to end is just,
again, it's like the gauntlet idea
Yeah.
of just like all of these are going to be prolonged,
Yeah.
and they're going to keep topping one another.
and like he's in the Hall of Knives, and then he's on the horse, and like
he builds
like,
a gun to shoot one dude.
Yes,
Like it's amazing.
It like keeps changing. Like the action doesn't stop; it just changes.
Yes.
and so like it doesn't get old. It
Fights
just
a
like,
dude on a horse.
Yeah,
like,
literally. Like it just keeps like evolving and changing, so it like stays fresh, feels new, and you're still engaged.
100%.
Yeah,
These movies keep finding creative weapons for him.
yeah,
The shotgun fights are always fun. I love the underwater moment.
yeah.
Where he knows he has to swim back because the bullets won't go, and then he shoots him, and then when he gets out, Zero's there, and he's like monologuing, and he just dives back in the water and jumps out and starts shooting. It's so good,
Good
dude.
shit, man.
It really is. All right. Any other things we want to talk about this one?
No.
We want to jump into motherfucking John Wick Chapter 4.
All right. Actual spoilers.
Yes.
New
movie.
Actual spoilers for John Wick 4. If you haven't seen John Wick 4 and you do not want to be spoiled, go away. John Wick 4. Holy shit. Is this the best shot action movie of all time?
Potentially.
Is it the best action movie of all time?
Dude, I'm telling you, like, the thing I keep coming back to is there are things in this movie that in any other movie would bother me.
Yeah.
It's very fetch questy. It's go here to do this, go there to do that, go here. But the things he's going and doing are awesome.
Yeah.
And the fights in all those moments are great, and they're all motivated by character and world building. You know what I mean? Why would I be bothered by that? It's got Rina Sawayama in it.
Fucking
and she
Rina.
rules. Like
Dude, Rina Sawayama was like actually great.
No.
She's like actually like really, really good. I thought it
and
was, like,
she throws the fuck down, dude.
I thought it was like fun that she got cast, and it was like super, super, super fun. But she's like actually really good.
And potentially building off of her, making her a character in these, like,
yeah,
dude.
John Wick Chapter 4 is phenomenal.
So legitimately, this is also like, action sequences go on too long, stuff like that, right? We can talk about the climax of this movie is like 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
And that is not a complaint in any way.
No,
You're
holy
seeing the
shit.
coolest shit. A fist fight in the Arc de Triomphe as the cars are driving and they're using cars as weapons. Like
That fight with the cars is like that when he's driving is maybe the best driving action I've ever seen.
when he's spinning around just shooting the dudes out of the car.
It
and
is so phenomenally shot. It feels so smooth.
Yeah.
And like that sequence was incredible. My jaw was on the floor. Specifically like when he's in the car and they're going around the roundabout. Like I did not know how they did that at all. Because
Yeah.
it felt utterly seamless. Like I was like, is Keanu driving, like actually driving this entire time?
He has done a lot of his own driving for these movies.
It's like he's clearly driving some of it, but like the fact that if there are stitches, if they are connecting different things together, it's phenomenally seamless.
Yeah.
Like it is, that sequence is like jaw-droppingly
Well, and then it goes
shot.
from that to him in a building with one of the coolest shots in any action movie ever.
That top
with like
down.
Literally it's just here and it just floats
Just
back
like,
as he's fighting and going through multiple rooms, then becomes a top
with
down
the
as he's-
dragon's breath.
with the dragon's breath shotgun.
So cool.
Dude. And then it cuts to a really quick thing and then just goes back to it again for a whole nother sequence.
Yes.
Like, and again, it's the thing with John where it's like, why I like him is he could have killed the guy that was trying to kill him, but he saves his dog instead.
Yes.
And he shoots the guy and then that helps him in the end. It's like, and then it goes to the fucking stair sequence.
Dude, wild.
One of the greatest pieces of action ever.
Truly.
Like, Patrick Willems, this is where we'll talk about this. Patrick H. Willems, watch his YouTube channel. He's brilliant.
We love him.
His tweet was like, I saw John Wick at an early screening. It has 3 of the greatest falls in all of American cinema. 3.
Right.
And it's like, it's been going around Twitter, the stunt guy falling down the escalator is like the tamest of the 3. And it's one of the craziest falls I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then there's the one where Keanu falls off the thing. Twice. He falls off the thing in Russia.
Yeah.
And then he falls off the thing in Paris. And then he falls all the way down the stairs.
Dude, this fight sequence in the club.
I know.
Or I think it's Berlin.
Yes,
Yeah, that scene is like the new club. You know, like I love all of these movies that like constantly, like every single one has a club action sequence ever since the first. Do all of them? Because the second one has the one at her coronation.
Yeah, the third is the question mark.
Is there one in the third?
I mean, they fight at the Continental. They fight at the smelting plant for the high table guy.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think there's a club fight in the third one. Good to know.
No.
In the fourth one, the fucking club fight. Okay, who's the dude in the fat suit?
Oh, Ethan told me this.
He's like an action guy, and I cannot put my finger on it. He was super fun. The fat suit was a choice.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. You know what I mean?
It's like with the whale, there was a lot of conversation about how fat suits are like super problematic. I don't quote me on this. I don't know much. I didn't read super into it. Do your own research. Don't listen to me. But like, so I was just like that was a choice. He was a fun character.
Yeah, I believe it's Scott Adkins. He's like a B action movie guy.
Yeah.
He got to come play in this one.
Yeah, man.
It's awesome.
It's super fun. Like that sequence of like that rave fight, like phenomenal. Like so gorgeous. Like,
well, and we talk about build, right?
Yeah.
This movie just repeatedly has this like tension scene before, the card thing.
Yeah.
Like all of that rules so hard.
Yeah,
Donnie Yen.
The tension in this movie is unlike any of the other ones.
Oh yeah,
like they build
this entire movie feels different because of that. Like,
my God, and it is so beautifully shot. Like there are more like interesting characters in this one than any
it has
of
the
other.
most colorful cast of supporting.
Like, you've got Donnie Yen, you've got Rina Samayawa, you've got her dad. I can't remember his name.
I love him though.
I absolutely love him. You've got what are other people? Oh, Mr. Nobody,
Clancy Brown,
Clancy fucking Brown, Marquis this whatever,
Skarsgård, the Marquis de Legrand, whatever.
I as I've said, I love a good fucking character actor. Maybe my favorite character actor is Clancy Brown. I think
he rules,
legitimately,
dude.
I think
so good.
I love Clancy. I love you so much.
Come on the pod.
Come on the pod. I legitimately desperately love Clancy Brown. Ever since Lost, I have loved him ever since Lost. That motherfucker's been in the game since like the 70s.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like he was
Shawshank Redemption, dude.
He was before that. He was like oh shoot, who was he in? Not The Sword in the Stone. What's the other one? The like super crazy dark action version of King Arthur. Is it King Arthur?
Excalibur.
Excalibur. Yeah, in Excalibur, like he was in Excalibur. I think that may have been like his first or second movie. That was like, but he's been doing this shit. He is so fucking good.
Well, dude, and this movie gives us like, I think the thing it teaches me more than anything is more movies need nunchuck fights.
Jeez,
like.
Yeah.
Nunchuck fights, but it gives us one of the coolest fights ever with Donnie Yen versus Keanu Reeves. And then it gives us one of the coolest fights ever with Donnie Yen and Keanu Reeves fighting together.
Yeah.
He's like, I need you to get up those stairs, John.
Yeah.
And then they just go the fuck off in the coolest thing ever. Oh, man.
I love Donnie Yen. And he is so fun. And like he's like a...
What's with him and playing blind guys, though?
Hollywood. Why do we keep making him blind?
Yeah, what's up?
Let this man see.
Let Donnie Yen see.
Hashtag let Donnie Yen see again.
Yes.
Yeah.
His character rules.
Absolutely.
Like, and the fun stuff they do with how he fights is awesome.
Yeah, he's like just sitting there like eating a bowl of ramen or whatever.
Dude, nobody,
he's like, dude, fight. It's like, do your job.
He just kind of like leans into the lighting in this one pops so hard. It's like, oh.
The cinematography in this movie, legitimately phenomenal. The one thing I kept thinking was like, I love how sourcey the lighting is in a way that usually kind of bothers me. It's like they will show you the lights that they are using, like in the
poker scene. I mean, you got
and the Osaka Continental.
Yeah,
you can literally just see the lighting, but
the LED art wall they have or whatever it is.
Like you can just see the lighting and stuff that they're using because it's like it feels like it is like this wild, crazy. Like it is phenomenal. Like legitimately maybe the best shot action movie of all time.
It's like that and Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
Like it's those two, I think, probably. Other incredible things that happen in this movie.
There are too many to name.
They're really hard. No, dude, I fucking love the scene where he's like, "Where did you get this pistol?" And it's just like him talking about how cool it is. So then the rest of the fight is him just trying to hold on to that gun.
Legitimately.
It's such a fun, like, a framing device. I love that the clerical work is done in Paris in the Eiffel Tower. Like when they show that, I just started laughing. I was like, these movies fuck so hard.
The fucking like badass radio station.
Yes!
Like, so
kind of calling the shots on where he is a fun framing device.
Yeah.
Man.
Thoughts on Skarsgård?
I like him. He's having a blast.
He's having if I had one complaint is I don't love his accent, but like everything else about the character I love. Well, for so long I could not tell what his accent was supposed to be.
In that last little duel, I noticed the thing, right? It was like, John didn't shoot.
Yeah.
And then when he walked up and went, John didn't shoot.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I think that they like I don't think that I think the entire time you're going like I think he's still got a bullet in the chamber.
Yeah. It's again the tension thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like they draw this shit out in the cool because people were like, John Wick doesn't need to be 3 hours. It's not 3 hours long, but John Wick doesn't need to be 3 hours long.
Fuck off.
And
yes, it does.
Chad Stahelski was like, y'all will watch 8 hours of television in a day.
Yeah.
So you can come sit through a long action movie.
Yeah.
It's like, you know how hard we worked on this shit? I want to drag it out a little.
That being said, there's like some shots that are just like the beginning of the movie with the sunrise. It's like it just takes its time.
Yeah.
Like the
makes
shot,
you sit in it.
The shot of what's his name? Ian McShane's character. Walking through the
art museum. Yeah,
it's like just this long wide shot of him walking through a museum.
Well, and at this point, you know, in the series, when does John Wick just end up killing dudes at a Subway? Like, how many other places can he kill people? Like, when is it just like I'm at McDonald's, so I'm gonna fight? Like,
I have a pitch for what I think 5 will be. Once we get to that,
I was gonna say I want to keep just raving about it for a minute or two longer.
Yes.
Like it's,
but my pitch is like something kind of specific about a specific location.
Okay,
I just can't talk about. I can't talk enough about how beautiful this movie is.
I know.
It is so good. Like legitimately, like
the whole sequence in that we're talking about the Russian rave fight, right?
Yeah.
When he falls in the water and he's standing up and it's like slow and it's just you see this the most gorgeous thing you've ever looked at.
Yeah.
Seeing the most violent things you've ever seen happen, like
the fights and the locations and the ways that they're fighting, the people that are fighting has always been creative in these movies. But this is like this one more than any of the others. Like this they take the camera work has always been great too. Like I don't want to discount that at all. But the not only is just the camera work great in this movie, it like up levels it with like just beautiful lighting in a way that like hasn't been as present in the other, which the other ones still look beautifully.
And even when the lighting isn't flashy, it's still just gorgeous.
Yes.
Like again, I keep talking about the fucking stair fight.
Yeah, dude.
Where it's just like lit so well.
Yeah.
But it's not anything all that flashy because that comes later. You know,
Yeah.
it comes in. Dude, the fall when he's going down the stairs and the camera just continues to go back. You just tumble and tumble and tumble.
Yeah.
This movie just rules
Dude.
so goddamn hard.
Dude, okay, Mr. Nobody, that guy.
He's awesome.
I want his fit so bad. That dude had such fucking steez.
Yes.
I need that steez.
Yes.
And part of that steez needs to be his lever action rifle. That like, look, I'm not a big gun guy, but that gun was badass as shit.
Oh man,
that was sick.
I want to watch a spin-off with him.
Yes.
His character was really cool. I want to know more about this guy.
Yes.
Like, let's watch a spin-off with him.
Yes.
Like, if John Wick is the franchise, if any franchise needs to get a bunch of spin-off movies, it's John Wick, and it is.
Yeah.
Ana de Armas and Norman Reedus and Keanu Reeves is going to be in it. How much? I don't know. They're making a ballerina movie about John's, like, the family he's from.
Love it.
Fuck it, I'm in. Like,
give me like Tales from the Continental. Like, you know what I mean?
they're doing a 3-night Continental prequel series. Like, it's gonna be like a 3-night event, is how it was described.
Interesting.
About young Winston.
Yeah.
Starting out as an assassin, getting to the point when he's the manager of the Continental.
I love that.
It's awesome.
Sick. I'm super into it.
So cool, dude.
Yeah, like I really love the world that they have built and are building.
Mm-hmm.
And these movies are so fucking
well,
cool.
and now I just really quick, the nunchuck fight. I know I said more movies need them, but holy shit, is the nunchuck fight so fucking cool. Like when he wraps it around his neck to get other weapons and keep fighting, he's just hitting the dude over the head with them, and it's so good.
Yeah,
like,
man.
oh, this movie.
Yeah.
This movie.
I think this, in more than like 2 and 3, actually brings real emotion back. You know, with like specifically with like his friendships and the way he's like,
I was gonna say
hurting the friends around him.
Yes,
and like how that is like interweaved into the story. It's like I actually think it is more emotional than 2 and 3 were. It's like it's not to the same level as 1. I don't think it's trying to be, but it's not quite there. I don't think.
Yeah.
But like it actually brings real emotion in,
showing what happened
like,
to Sharon and what happened to Winston and all that.
Everything he touches dies. Like you know, like
His friend at the other Continental, gave up his life for him, and Donnie Yen is his friend in this movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to fight him.
No.
Like,
I like how they like brought that back in a little bit more. You know, because like it's like he has like friends in the second and third movies. You know, he gets Halle Berry to help him out and like that kind of stuff. Like kind of against her will, she doesn't like it. She fucking
the
hates it for it.
mechanic. Why am I forgetting his name?
Oh, John Leguizamo's character.
I don't like that he's not in 2 or 4, or 3 or 4. I mean, like bring him back. Maybe he didn't want to come back.
Hashtag bring back John Leguizamo.
He was busy being in another one of these Violent Night movie. You know, like ad stuntmen directed.
He was busy making the menu.
Yeah, right. No joke. Anyway, so let's talk about this.
Okay, The Thing.
Okay, I was under the.
Okay, hold on. The Thing.
The Thing.
Spoilers. If you've gotten to this point and you still haven't seen 4, please go watch 4 because we're about to spoil literally the biggest thing in this movie.
I thought John Wick 5 was happening, but John Wick dies in this movie.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't?
No, he doesn't.
What is the setup that he doesn't?
So me and Meg, when we were driving back, she looked it up. Does John Wick die in chapter 4? There was an interview with the writers of the movie, and they say, well, it's open to interpretation. So he didn't die. This is him, like, the world thinks he has died. He is back in hiding. So he can live out the rest of his days in peace. 5 will be him coming back out. This from this point on, this is speculation on my part. But like he like there will be something that brings him back out. The table does something to where he has to take on the table directly.
Okay.
There's no world where this series of movies doesn't end with him going and killing the 12 members of the table.
Okay. That I agree with. I think that's where it has to go.
Yeah.
My one complaint is you can't just
I completely agree.
You need to have anything that hints at that.
I mean, like, we see him...
It's open to interpretation is not enough.
We see him lay over. That doesn't exactly mean he dies. And at
Well, then they crossfade to his funeral.
they crossfade to his headstone, and they say, "Do you think he's in heaven or like in heaven
Or in hell.
or in hell?" And he goes, "Who knows?" And then he laughs it off and walks away.
But he doesn't have his dog. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
like
I agree. I'm not like in love with that either.
It's like I would understand this if you weren't sure you were getting another one and you wanted to close it out.
I think that is legitimately why they did it. Is they aren't 100% positive that Keanu wants to do 5. If I were to guess.
I'm confused by that because I was under the impression they were going to do 4 and 5 really close to one another so he could maintain shape and stuff. I can't imagine.
And then they didn't. You know
well, I know,
mean?
but
Like,
I can't imagine he doesn't want to come back.
I can't imagine that either.
That frustrates me because like now it's like the happy ending. So him coming back out to fight the High Table. It's like, what are they going to do? What's the High Table going to do? I don't know.
Like like I said, or whatever. Like that. My speculation is no matter what. My speculation, whether it's he goes back into hiding and has to come back out, or he is in hiding in order to plan his attack on
the High Table.
On the High Table. Whatever it is,
Yeah,
like
but he's squared up with them. You know what I mean? At least seemingly, the High Table, they'll never fully.
There's no world where this series does not end with him killing
Yeah,
all 12 members of the High Table.
Led by Michelle Yeoh. Yeah.
This is my pitch. This is my pitch. It is, what is the, I don't know what, there's a Bruce Lee movie where he's like fighting, he has to go all the way up he has to like fight people on different floors, all the way up to the top floor of a building. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's kind of what the raid is, but that's not a Bruce Lee movie. Bruce Lee.
There's a specific, I could be wrong.
I can't remember.
Please don't quote me on this. I'm very stupid. Please don't quote me on this.
I haven't seen a lot of Bruce Lee movies.
But my pitch is he has to go all the way up to the top of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. He has to fight his way to the top of the Burj Khalifa, and at the top is the leader. You know, like as he's going up, he meets other members of the High Table, and he has to kill them all the way up. And at the very top is Michelle Yeoh, the leader of the High Table.
Well, you know, what I would love more than anything is to him build a squad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I think that's part of it. I think that you've got Mr. Nobody. I think you've got Donnie Yen's character. You've
possibly
got, maybe
depending on what credit scene,
depending on what they do with Donnie Yen and Rina Samiyawa, like depending on what they do with those two characters.
Yeah,
if that's like if that's a spin-off thing or if that happens in 5, which I mean either way. But he has friends that he can pull. You know, Halle Berry's character, like he has friends or
who are all fed up with the High Table and want to change.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, I just think ending this one this way and then having him pop back up later is weird. I kind of don't like that.
Yeah, I don't love it.
If this was
in the same way that I don't like him like cutting, and that's another thing is like I don't think that the ring is such a symbol. Like I just don't think he would just be like, oh well, he doesn't have it. Okay, you know.
Yeah, that is weird.
I don't think that he would just leave it at that. Legitimately,
I mean, he shoots the guy.
Yeah, he shoots the guy, but where's the fucking
and the
ring?
High Table killed the other guy and probably destroyed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's probably what happened.
That could be the case, I guess.
Because he's like, it's gone along with my predecessor. You know what I mean? So
doesn't that dude sit above the High Table though?
I think he's the elder of the High Table, so he's kind of the face of the idea of it, but I think he's still I don't know. That's where the rules of the world get a little confusing. Like I don't exactly know. Like that feels like that guy didn't want to come back to do it,
right?
And so they had to come up with something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the idea of him taking on the High Table because that was the promise made in 3 that 4 does not fulfill, of him going to war with the High Table with the Bowery,
and they bring it up in 4. Like that gets mentioned where it's like this ends at the High Table.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and it doesn't in this.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
but that's my point. Is it just feels like the promise made. There's like I'm pretty fucking pissed off. How about you? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like gonna see this guy go to war with the High Table, and it starts with him doing the one mission to kill the Elder.
Yeah,
but doesn't really go anywhere past that because John talks to me. He's like, I'm gonna kill them all.
Yeah.
But then he gets talked out of that. But Lawrence Fishburne's okay with him being talked out of that. Like some of that stuff, I'm a little confused about because I love the promise of 3 of because Parabellum means prepare for war.
Yeah.
So says the movie. I don't know if that's actually true. And so this is the preparation for war, and John is now going to fight with the literal hell of this thing to fight back to the top. So I want John Wick 5. Oh my God, I want John Wick 5 so bad.
Yeah.
But they kill John Wick in this movie for all intensive purposes.
I just don't think
Purposes.
I just don't think there's a world where John Wick does not come back for John Wick. Or there isn't, unless Keanu turns it down for some reason.
Yeah. Which, like, who knows? I'm sure these movies cannot be easy to make, and he's getting older, and all that stuff.
I'm sure they're time consuming and incredibly hard on him.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can understand him wanting to turn it down. That being said, if he comes back for 5, there's just no world, or if they have it, there's no world where this doesn't end with him taking on the high table.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what I want to see. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, that's what I wanted this movie to be like. Oh, you're free, John. What are you going to do now? Get ready.
Yeah.
Right? Because the whole movie, they're like, you can't walk away. You can't do it.
Yeah.
And the promise being he did this to buy himself time to start a war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I wanted it to be.
And maybe that is, like, maybe that's what the 5 opens with.
And again,
look,
like,
that's the thing is, like, we will know by the time the trailer for John Wick 5, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be
Oh,
like,
I'm sure in the coming weeks when they announce John Wick 5, it's made $75 million in its opening weekend.
there's no world.
Like, by far they'll be like 20 million more than 3 made in its opening weekend. Like, it's gonna just buco bucks.
And
you know what I mean?
especially with how excited people are about it. Because,
Yeah.
like, I'm fucking excited about it. Like,
Yeah.
I will scream it from the rooftops to everybody that will listen to me about how much
Like,
I
I will likely go see 4 again in
Oh,
theaters.
I desperately want to.
It's so good.
It is, especially now that I have Alamo season pass. I can
Alamo,
go see it.
sponsor us.
Legitimately, Alamo, baby, I will shill for you so hard. I will sell out every part of my soul for you.
So yeah, Alamo sponsor us.
Sponsor
is
us.
basically the. Okay, so as a franchise, I think you and I agree this might be the coolest thing in action, with Mission Impossible being like the other side of that.
Yeah.
The other side of that coin that binds our souls. There's so much I could say.
I love John Wick.
I love
these
John
movies.
Wick desperately. Like, if you can't tell, we're big fans of the Baba Yaga. Like, it's just.
I love it.
Literally, I own these. You know what I mean? Like,
I just love Keanu.
and that's the other thing is Keanu, we could go on and on all day about wonderful stories about that man. Like, he's so amazing. Like, people kind of come after him occasionally for like literally nothing because they can't let a good man be a good man.
Yeah.
Like,
Shout out to Keanu.
Shout out to Keanu.
You give me hope in humanity. So
legitimately, like, and as a figure of cinema, you've been incredible and so giving to like fans and stuff. He's amazing.
Shout out Keanu.
But yeah, John Wick. Is there anything else we want to talk about in terms of like, these
favorite
movies?
fight in 4?
Favorite fight in 4, favorite kill in 4. That's tough. It's like impossible to.
Yeah. I mean, like,
my favorite sequence legitimately is like the last 40 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
I know you love the car sequence.
That was phenomenal.
It's so good.
For me, it is the car sequence, like that whole thing at the roundabout going into the building. Like, those two specifically are just insane.
And for me, I'm gonna cheat and beat the whole that because like there's the first part of that fight where it's like
the staircase. It's like I can't.
Those 3 things back to back are the coolest things I've seen in an action movie since Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah,
like it's the only thing.
I need to rewatch Mad Max.
Well, we'll be doing that soon.
Hey.
Yeah, kill favorite. When he throws the fucking Russian guy off the stairs and he lands on his head is so good.
Just that entire fight with that guy.
Yeah. That or you tried to kill my puppy. It was so good. Oh,
Hell
man.
yeah, brother. Nuts. That dude and that dog.
I want to
absolutely
see them
fucked.
just on a sitcom where they murder
so
people.
serious. I want nobody's fit so bad.
Yeah.
Literally, I looked it up after the fact to see if I could find like
the kind of like bigger coat and the.
Yeah, I just need to find like once the movie's like been out for a few weeks, I'm gonna see if I can't find a style guide for that because I do fucking love it. He's so
good.
cool looking. Anyways, anything else?
Man, no lessons. I want to talk about lessons with John
Jesus.
Wick. There's a million things I could say. Shoot your movie with clarity.
Hire a great stunt man.
Hire a great stunt team.
That's
the biggest
let your
thing.
stunt team.
Oh yeah, well that's something to talk about. Like the rule with action in America is, oh yeah, we'll shoot the fight after lunch.
Yeah.
The rule with John Wick and the rule of foreign action movies is, oh yeah, we'll shoot the fight for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That is the mentality of these movies. Send everything. Everyone is dedicated to it. Everyone is on board. Like
100%.
that. But I think I just, in terms of lessons, I want to talk about world building.
Yeah.
Because these could just be like run-of-the-mill assassin organization movies, but because of the weird rules and symbolism and all of the dumb, over-the-top bullshit that just works. Like, find that in your thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it can be a horror movie. It can be like Barbarian has all of it, right? Barbarian has all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Hereditary, Midsummer.
Where it's like, I think in the first one, what it does so well is it like just hints to this greater world. Like, it's clear they have this whole world planned out that we only get to see the edges of.
Yeah, like we get the introduction to the Continental and the idea of something bigger. That's it.
And then in each subsequent one, we get deeper and deeper
Escalation of world building. That's how you should put it.
While still knowing there's more that we can't see.
Yep.
Love that. Yeah.
It's amazing, dude.
So cool.
It's so good. So that's really my lesson is just finding because everything is world building. You could be Ford v Ferrari. James Mangold talked about that. It's a biopic.
Yeah.
But it's still world building. It is. You still have to establish what the rules of this world are. You still have to establish how people interact and what it means if somebody's root. All of those things. I'm working on a feature right now that is heavily integrated in world building. And it's hard. It really is difficult to like telegraph that like. I'm not telling you the rules, but there are rules. There is a rule system in place for when something happens. It means this. And it's there, but it's finding the right amount of telegraph. Like, I really, like, weirdly, John Wick is what I need to look at to figure that shit out.
Yeah, where it's like I said, there's so much that you don't see. You're only getting to see just the peak behind the curtain. Like, but there's so much deeper beyond that. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I actually think that's a phenomenal lesson to take from it.
And it's nuts that John Wick is the movie that I'm talking about this with, right? It's how good these are that they transcend just the idea of being a shoot 'em up movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's like I think there are certain like flaws that you can point out where it's like, yeah, these aren't like the deepest characters with like the deepest like emotions or anything like that. But it's like that is not
what we're trying to do, man.
That's not what we're trying to do. It's like the action and the world building. The world building is what sets up the action.
Yeah.
And that action is so phenomenally crafted from like beginning to end. Like nothing about it is half-assed. Exactly what you were talking about with stunt coordinators, where it's like, or if stunt coordinators who become directors, where it's just like nothing about what they're doing is fucking half-assed. Everything is the most important fight. Everything is the most important kill.
In John Wick 4, that shot that's going around Twitter of the guy falling down the stairs.
Yeah.
That's just like a throwaway shot in this
just
movie.
Like a 2-second shot.
But it sells so hard the dedication to this shit. Like,
and every single person is dedicated.
Yeah.
Like Keanu Reeves spends months going through the choreography.
in this one, you can
rehearsing.
tell, dude, the like takedowns in it where he's like flipping and grappling and throwing people around. It's like, holy shit, like that's like just not even just a fight. That's a fucking stunt.
Yeah.
And he's just doing them.
Yeah.
Like left and right in this movie.
Legit.
They're so good. Oh.
Phenomenal.
Dedication and world building, and those are the two biggest things to take away from
100%.
this. But I love these movies. Watch these movies, then watch them again and again and again and again. And again, you know what I mean? Anyway, segment.
We've got my favorite, which is stumping you with movie trivia. Even though you are incredibly smart and you should be very good at this. This is action movie trivia. I have a list of trivia questions from random ass action movies. So let's start now. Peter Weller played which action movie icon in 1987, then again in 1990?
This is going to be horrible. Can I know what Peter Weller looks like?
I will give you a list. James Bond, RoboCop, Judge Dredd, Ash Williams.
RoboCop.
It is RoboCop.
Yeah, sorry. As soon as you said RoboCop, I was like, oh, I can picture him in my head. Okay.
What speed mustn't the bus fall below?
55. Was I right?
No. 50.
No! Damn it. I
I
need to watch Speed again. That's a really fun movie.
Who was the target of the Terminator in the original 1984 movie?
Sarah Connor.
Yes. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence team up in which 1995 action comedy movie?
Bad Boys.
Hell yeah, brother. What is the name of the lead character in the 1983 film Scarface?
I hate that I don't know that immediately because I do know it. It's Al Pacino. It's shit.
I will deduct points, but I'll give you a list.
Okay.
It is Jeffrey Fontana, Tony Montana.
Tony Montana.
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck.
Brian
man.
Havana. Tony Pontini.
It's now I'm hearing is the Lonely Island song where he's like Tony Montana. Yeah, that's
based on a sword-wielding Marvel Comics character. What color is Sonya in the title of 19... What the fuck? Based on the sword-wielding Marvel Comics character, what color is Sonya in the title of the 1985 film?
I got no fucking clue. What's the
Red
answer?
Sonya.
Like Sonya sounds super familiar.
Sonja?
I don't know.
I don't
Next
know.
one.
Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, the 1987 movie The Running Man is based on a novel by whom?
I have no idea.
Clive Barker, Stephen King.
Really? Clive Barker?
Clive Barker, Stephen King, John Saul, or Isaac Asimov.
Oh, it can't be Clive Barker. The Running Man?
Yep.
Is it Stephen King?
It is Stephen King.
Okay, I was like, I don't think Clive Barker. I thought you were telling me who wrote it.
What is the first name of John McClane's wife in the Die Hard films?
Lucy's his daughter. It's not Helen. That's John Wicks.
You're close.
List. I need a list.
Polly, Molly, Sarah, Holly.
Holly.
Yep.
Yeah. Holly Gennaro. Yeah, that's
Holly Gennaro. On how many occasions did Timothy Dalton play the role of James Bond?
Timothy Dalton twice?
Yes. The Living Daylights and License to Kill. Go Ahead, Make My Day is a well-known
Dirty
quote.
Harry.
No. Is well-known from which classic action film? You're not wrong, but that is not the movie. It is Dirty Harry, but it is not the movie Dirty Harry.
What is it?
It is from the movie Sudden Impact, which is a Dirty Harry movie.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right.
The fourth film in the Dirty Harry series.
That's funny.
From which district does Katniss hail in the Hunger Games?
12.
You got it, baby
Coal
boy.
mining.
Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Delta Force operator Colonel John Matrix in which action movie?
Commando.
Yes.
I love
John
Commando.
Matrix.
I love Commando desperately. Watch Commando,
That
dude.
movie's fucking
he pets
wild.
a deer in that movie.
That movie's
as just a
fucking wild.
shot in it for
Yeah.
no reason. Commando rules.
Dude, that movie fucks.
He's like, you said you'd kill me last. I lied. And then he drops him off a cliff. It's the best thing ever.
Rogue Nation was an installment in which action
Mission
series
Impossible.
Yeah, of course. The 1974 Oscar-winning action disaster film, The Towering Inferno, took place in which city?
I don't know.
New York, Miami, Los Angeles, San Francisco.
Los Angeles?
Nope, San Francisco.
Damn.
This is the last one. Which 1973 futuristic action movie was remade into a 2016 TV show?
Oh, shit. TV 19 what?
1973. This may be a show that you and I have both seen. And this may be a show that I introduced you to. And this may be a show that I have not seen in the most recent season.
There's several shows you haven't seen the most recent season.
But based off of a 1973 action movie?
I know, but I'm dying here because what?
Futuristic action?
Dude, what the
I'm not gonna give you clues other than the ones I've already given you.
I watch a lot of TV. How many seasons is the show? Can I ask that?
4.
That doesn't help me. I'm so lost.
The first season was very good. The second season was very bad. The third season was very weird, and I haven't seen the fourth.
I don't know, dude. I genuinely am so lost here.
If I give you the list, you're gonna know it instantly.
Just say, give me the list, because I'm
Westworld, Starship Troopers, Serenity,
Westworld.
Total Recall.
I always forget Westworld was a movie first. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
Yeah.
And I also
There were two.
they took it off HBO.
Oh shit! Did they really?
They took it off HBO.
Dude, that actually makes me mad. I wanted to watch season 4.
I got like halfway through it and stopped.
Wow, this man, he will finish anything. Like, even if he doesn't like it, if he started it, he's going to finish it.
I intended to finish it and then I didn't.
Yeah. Because, like, this thing, I really, really liked the first season. And then I didn't like the second season because it was like, let's just do the first season again. And then the third season was like, let's not do any of that ever again. And then I was like, I saw the fourth season, just like it just didn't seem like anybody gave a shit, including the people that were making it.
Not
at that point.
Well, and the funny thing is, the actors are getting paid for season 5, even though it's not happening.
Whoa, really?
Due to their contracts.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, nice.
Good for them.
Good for Evan Rachel Wood. Good for
Aaron Paul, Tessa Thompson.
I wanted to say Sean Paul and
Ed
I was
Harris.
wrong. I fucking love Ed Harris.
I love Ed Harris.
Shout out Ed Harris. Come on the pot. So yeah, that was the game.
Good. I did okay.
You did okay.
I should have done better. I should have done better.
Recommendations.
I
will
will
recommend something while I think of something to recommend.
Oh, well, I'm going to recommend next week's episode.
Okay.
Because I want people to watch it and get ready for it, because I'm guessing a lot of people haven't seen it. The Raid.
Yeah.
The first Raid specifically. We're not going to do Raid 1 and 2.
Okay. Is the first raid called Raid Redemption?
The first raid is called The Raid Redemption.
Okay.
There you go. Why the second raid is called The Raid 2. The Raid 2 is also really cool, but
Yeah.
The Raid 1 is its own episode. Like, there's so much to talk about. Watch that movie. It might be the greatest fight choreography ever put to cinema.
Yeah.
Like, John Wick is like the competition, but holy shit is The Raid some of the coolest like action filmmaking ever. It rules. It's a gauntlet of a movie, and it is so awesome. It's like, I believe, an Indonesian action movie directed by an American, which is weird, but
really,
Gareth Edwards.
Really?
Yeah, I think I could be wrong about that. We'll correct that next week.
I think Gareth Edwards is English. His name's Gareth.
Well, I don't know. Then I watched a movie where a guy fought a bunch of dudes with a sword. I don't. That movie's awesome. I want to see him fight John Wick so bad.
Yes.
Anyway, that's my recommendation. Watch that movie. It rules so hard. Like, we're gonna talk about it. So we're gonna do they'll both be kind of kung fu martial arts action movies, but one being the American and then one being the foreign film. Watch that movie. It's so good. Get over your fear of subtitles, listener.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They're a 1-inch barrier that you can easily cross over.
It's so easy.
Gareth Edwards is Welsh.
Welsh.
And yes, he did direct Raid Redemption.
Anyway, your recommendation, sir.
I am going to recommend. We have been talking about this series a lot throughout this episode, but I'm going to go ahead and recommend Mission Impossible. Can't fucking go wrong with those movies because they absolutely rule. I'm going to recommend one specifically. I'll just do a quick run through of how I feel about each of the movies. Mission Impossible 1 absolutely rules. I feel like it doesn't get the credit that it deserves because I think that movie absolutely shreds. Mission Impossible 2 is certainly one of the movies of all time. Mission Impossible.
It does have one of the craziest stunts I've ever seen in a movie.
Right.
Which is the knife thing.
For sure.
Look up that story.
Crazy. Mission Impossible 3 has some one of my favorite Philip Seymour Hoffman performances.
And the best Tom Cruise running maybe
And the
ever.
best Tom Cruise running shot ever. But like as a movie, it's very J.J. Abrams.
It's fine. For
better and worse. It's a very J.J. Abrams movie.
J.J. Abrams.
The fourth one, fucking Ghost Prote. Love Ghost Prote.
Rules.
Love Brad Bird. I love Brad Bird. That movie fucking rules. And then it's is it Rogue Nation after that?
Nation.
Rogue Nation. Really, really, really good. But the specific one that I want to recommend is Fallout. Fallout is so fucking good.
Fallout's in contention for best action movie ever.
Right.
Like,
so fucking good. Henry Cavill reloads his arms like guns. What else is there to say? Maybe the best trailer ever.
The one with the Imagine Dragons song.
Yes, maybe the best trailer ever. If anything, you know what? Fuck it. I'm recommending the trailer. Yeah. The first trailer for Fallout. That shit's rules so hard. But yeah, go watch Mission Impossible Fallout. We got more Mission Impossibles coming soon. So I fucking love
Dead Reckoning Part 1 looks has the craziest stunt I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They're marketing the movie based on one stunt, if that tells you anything about it. Like,
yeah. The trailer the trailer played before the movie.
So excited.
Yeah.
Dude.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Anyway, watch John Wick
Do it.
1 through 4 and then watch
Go
them
see
again.
it in the theater.
Go
Holy
see
shit.
4.
Holy shit, go see it in the theater.
Go see it in a theater at a peak time.
Yeah.
It's so fun to watch with a crowd.
Yeah.
So watch the John Wick franchise, watch The Raid in prep, watch Mission
Yeah.
Impossible, do yourself a favor. Embrace Action Month. Go watch your favorite action movies.
Yeah.
Just jump in, let's do this. So you have a lot of stuff to watch, and so you can either you can either do that or not. I don't know. But live your life.